you joining us today. So everybody out there watching, we have Renee Gillispie. She's from the University of Iowa, the Hawkeyes. This is her second season leading them in Big Ten action, Power 5 conference. Pumped to have you with us today. Let's give all the kids out there watching, all the parents, all the coaches, I'm going to give them a rundown on kind of where you've been, and then we'll get into this. So she started the UCF softball program 2002, I think. So she took the fledgling program and ran with it for 625 wins, 5 conference titles, 7 NCAA regionals. That's a great history of success, a lot of consistency. Great job, Renee. I'm assuming they want you to bring that to the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Absolutely. That is absolutely the goal.
Good. So, all right. So she spent some time at JUCO, then Bradley, then Texas Tech, and currently she's sitting on 763 career wins. She knows how to win, almost 30 years of head coaching experience. You're ready to build the Hawkeyes into a national powerhouse. This season was awesome. I mean, you guys were rolling. 17-5. You almost beat your totals of wins in 2019 already, and you weren't even halfway through. So how do you take the momentum that you've created with your team through this difficult time of staying at home and carry that into 2021?
I think just what we did this year of being able to show what we're the level that we're going to, the culture that we're changing, the attitudes that they're bringing in as a new staff, new players. It's exciting time right now, and I think every player that came through this season with us is ready to roll next year and ready to prove themselves. So it was difficult. It was difficult going through the having to tell our players that we weren't going to have a season at the end of this year, and we were actually on a trip down in Florida when we heard the news, and we were trying to finish up our final weekend at USF, and when they told us we were going to get back on a plane and head back, we had just landed, and they gave us a call, said we're bringing all the teams back. It was a very difficult thing to hear, and having to tell the players that, something that they've never had to go through before. And we always say that adversity and stress that we have to go through in our lives is what builds us and make us stronger. And I believe that this whole situation, the virus that came through and everything that had to end our season, and the players that are not playing right now in high school, and question mark and what's going to happen in the summer, that's going to make these players stronger. They're going to be able to have the adversity and the tenacity to be able to fight through things that they may not have been able to before. So, we're looking forward to that as a strengthening for us. We want that to make us stronger, make us better for next year.
That's good advice right there. I mean, that's the only thing that you can do. And in the baseball and softball world, that's what we talk about, controlling the controllables. So you can take what you're given and try and get better from that. So that being said, what kind of things are your players doing to get better during this time? Because there are a lot of cool things that can happen, especially with technology.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because we do a lot of Zoom meetings right now, and we're doing leadership programs with them during this time. We feel that's a great way of being able to build them where we want them to be for next year. So we've been working the Mind Gym, reading that book and doing a session with them, and they're really getting a lot out of that. They're understanding how to control the mind, how to control your attitude, being able to put all your efforts into what you do, being present in the moment, and just taking everything that we can learn for the leadership side of it and the mindset side of it, and we're working that more than anything else right now.
Really cool. All right, so looking back at you personally for a second, you were a really good pitcher back in the day. I think you are a Hall of Famer at West Texas A&M, hold a lot of records at the school. So I know that you probably like to work with the pitchers a lot. What are a couple tips for some pitchers at home during this time? Like, what can they do, a pitcher specifically, to stay, I guess, in shape, keep the arm loose, mental focus? What can they do?
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of it right now is our mental focus. Our pitchers right now are looking at a lot of past games that they played, trying to figure out the good games that they had versus the bad games that they had, or not so good games that they had. and figuring out what it was. And in most cases, we find it's the mindset. It's how we approaching the game, how are we focusing on the one pitch at a time. Are we seeing ourselves being successful for every pitch that we throw? So we do a lot of mind work right now of just understanding what you're saying to yourself. So many of our players, we find that have very negative self-talk. And so we work with them understanding how to catch themselves, how to make that change and go into being a positive mindset in every action that they do. And with our pitches, we do a lot of spinners. The spin work is something they can do without a catcher. We work a lot of strengthening the arms, the wrists, the forearms, things that are going to help you with a tighter grip. So those are basic things that they can do at home. They don't need a catcher for that. And then when you can get a catcher, I mean, that's fantastic. You know, we look that you're 6 feet away. You should be if you're pitching to a catcher,
right?
And being able to get some time off to where you can work on those different spins. But like I said, right now it's more of the mindset, is more of your spin. You're being able to get tighter spins without having the catcher around.
Got it. So let's flip that script right there, and now let's talk about hitting for a second. So what do you guys at Iowa teach your hitters? Like, what is the approach when they step into the box? How do they own the box? What are you guys looking for?
Yeah, that's a good question, because we battle that a lot with our players of what is your mindset from the dugout to the on deck circle, and what is your mindset from the on deck circle to stepping in that box. And it's about taking control of the plate, taking control of the pitcher. You only have one person. You're going one-on-one against the pitcher. It's one pitch, and we focus a lot on being able to understand what your pitch is, and looking for that pitch in your first step back. And then if you're seeing that changes, you have to change and be adaptable to what she's throwing you, and to be able to adjust in the box and make some adjustments to make sure that you're getting the pitch that you want, and being in that situation to get the hit that you want. But it's basic stuff. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We work on hand path. We do a lot of length of cage, working on being able to extend it through your drive, and getting to contact is a big part of it. Are you getting to contact on time? Timing is the biggest thing on hitting, so we work a lot on the timing aspect of it.
Got it. I love watching softball now. It's such a fun sport. It's so fast. The hitters are getting better every single year. I think the approach at the plate has changed a lot, to where, just like you said, you're hunting a pitch, you're looking for that pitch and trying to explode on that thing. You've got some really good young talent on your team, girls who can really hit the ball. They're using the ghost bats. They're hitting balls out of the park. Talk a little bit about that mindset and like the youngsters coming up and how you coach them.
Yeah, well, we're really excited. When we first came in 2 years ago, we had a different contract, and we were working a lot with the team that we had before, which we didn't have a lot of great hitters on that team. We had, great people, great players, but to have that kind of power hitter, we just didn't have that on the Iowa squad when we first came in. So we made an adjustment actually to the Easton bats 2 years ago, and just saw so much excitement in the girls on seeing how it was coming off the bat. And of course, you still have to have the skills behind it.
Yes.
Like, the bat made such a huge difference for our players. So when they started seeing that and started playing a little bit more with the Easton, you started seeing them getting 10, 15, 20, 30 yards more on every hit that they were hitting. And so the young kids coming in, I mean, they're getting excited about being able to use Eastons this year. A lot of them are from the California area. We've got several players from Corona Angels that are helping us now. Nia Carter and Kalinda Burns, 2 freshmen that came in and just lit up the scene last year. Loving the Easton Bass, just understanding that they can have a lot more power with that. So you're seeing a lot of great talent coming in. We work hard through California. Iowa is our hotbed. We bring a lot of players in from Iowa, and really focusing more on the Midwest. But I've always had that California connection. Love everything about Southern California. We've got a couple Northern California girls that we're looking at this next year. So they have the talent to come in. They play against the best, and that's what we look for as players. Are they competing against the best players in the country? And you're seeing that. So yeah, our talent coming in, we're excited about next year. We've got 10 new players coming in next year. We've got a large squad right now. We've got 26 players on the roster for next year, and we like that competition level. We want to be able to see them compete.
And I mean, okay, so I got a couple things. So one, I did see, I mean, you guys had a great fielding year too. So while the bats were good, your defense, the leather was awesome too. I mean, you guys were leading the Big Ten in fielding percentage. So you're doing it defensively, you're doing it offensively. You put up 17 wins. You really have things kind of rolling out there. And I love the way that you're recruiting from everywhere. You got, you know, you own Iowa. That's your backyard. You want those girls. And then you've got them from coast to coast coming too. Very cool stuff.
Right.
Is that all part of like the Renee Gillispie recipe for success? Like what, you know, like what is your recipe for success? Building that competition level so the girls are all trying to outbeat each other?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. I mean, when we look for players, we look for players that have a lot of respect for the game. They have respect for the people around them. I think you've got to have that core. We're very much about family and being one unit. We are saying, and it's been this way since Gail Blevins was here, when they were going to the World Series every year, it's one team, one heartbeat. And we have to make sure that we're getting the right players for that mix. So we look for players that have that respect, have the selflessness about them, but love to compete. And that's a piece you can't teach competition. You can't teach that competitive edge. So we want the players to understand what that looks like and how to compete. And so when you bring in a mix of 26 players on a team, you know you're going to have that competition. Those kids are going to rise. The players are going to rise up to that level. You know, we normally don't carry that many players. Normally we carry 18 to 20. But because we're trying to build a new program, put in a new culture, we have to have that competition to be able to get them what they need to get to. So it's just being able to rise their level, you know, to raise their lid, to get them to understand what it looks like to be bigger, stronger, faster, and be able to compete.
So for the people watching, like how do you look for a competitor out? Like how do you find a competitor? What are the things that you're looking for?
Well, the first thing you look for is respect. I mean, are they respecting their coaches and their parents? I mean,
In the
if
game.
they're respecting, yeah, especially the game. But when we're seeing them, we watch them on the field the first couple times, and then we kind of watch them outside of the field, how they go to their parents, you know, if they're asking for water, or, you know, and they're not happy or the parents are carrying their equipment. You know, we look for those things. We want them to be independent women, women understand that they're responsible for their selves, and then they're responsible for their team. And so we look for that on every recruiting trip that we take. We want to see that they have that respect. But then that selflessness is being able to, are they there for their teammates? You know, are they high-five them as they're coming in? Are they excited when they make a play? You know, you see some kids that get upset when someone makes a play because they're fighting for that same position. You don't want that. You know, you're all in it for the same reason, and you're all fighting for the same cause. You want to win. You want to compete at the highest level. So we look for that. But then the competition side of it is, how are they approaching the plate? You know, are they battling? You know, you see kids that are fouling off, and they want that hit. That's competition. We see the kids that want to make the play and excited for the ball to come to them. I mean, you look at those things and you want those things on that level of competition. And then you'd like to see the dirtiest kid out there. I mean, you want to see the one that is like getting every ball, laying out for everything. I mean, you know that they want it. You can tell those players from everybody else. They will stand out.
Good stuff. That's excellent stuff. All right. So lastly, your facilities. Tell everybody about the facilities you guys have out there.
Yeah, Pearl Field, it was built in 2008. They've done a lot of renovations. We've got a new surface on it this year, brand new scoreboard last year. They've been doing a lot of different things for us on building the facility up. They've got an indoor, they've got batting cages there that we use right there on site. We also have indoor batting cages that we work with baseball with. We have an indoor facility. It's a rec center, which is indoor turf. So during the winter months that we're in there on the turf for most of probably January and part of February.
Yeah.
But it's great because it gives you that opportunity to get a lot of reps in and a lot of opportunity to hit extra. So a lot of facilities. We have a training table, which is really nice. A fueling station, which is about 4 different areas on campus where you can go in, and if you need something before you work out or after your workout, you go in, take whatever you need and head out, which is really nice.
That's cool.
They're all making sure that they're keeping fuel, they're staying fit, and we have the tools for them to be successful.
It's big time. It's Big Ten softball out there. Power 5.
That's right.
Hey, Renee, we thank you for joining us today. I'll take the last comment that I'll have is right out of your mouth. One team, one heartbeat. You got to hold yourselves accountable. You got to stay ready, stay safe. Thank you for joining us today. We're so proud to have Iowa Hawkeye softball on Team Easton.
Great. Brian, thank you for having me on. It's been
You're
great.
welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good one. See you guys.